BC Premier David Eby also spoke to the Prime Minister about the wave of extortion cases happening in the province.
The Prime Minister and I and our ministers have agreed that within the next 2 weeks, we will have a meeting of police leadership from Ontario, British Columbia, Alberta, Manitoba, and National Police at Green Timbers in Surrey, so that all police can be together. We can ensure there are no gaps in sharing information, that all resources that are needed have been delivered, and they can get a handle on this as the national issue that it is.
So a national issue. The meeting is going to be held in Surrey, British Columbia, the second biggest city in this province, and really the epicenter in this province for these extortion cases, including shootings. So let's bring in the police chief of the Surrey Police Service, Norm Lipinski. He's been calling for more resources to address this recent spike of extortions. Chief, what was your reaction to today's announcement?
I was pleased to hear that, and I'll tell you why. Because we, the police profession in the Lower Mainland, we have a task force and we work together. There's 5 agencies, but there's more to this than just policing. There's legislation that perhaps needs to be looked at, and also there's possible information gaps that can be filled up when we get together and speak. And I always say that it's always good to bring parties together and share information, and then put together a plan on what the way forward looks like. And certainly this is a national issue.
So in terms of getting parties together and having different agencies and officials meet, it gets a little tricky when it comes to Surrey, because there's a new police force, the Surrey Police Service, of which you are the chief. It is the RCMP, I guess, that's been heading a task force into the extortions. Do you know if you're going to be at this meeting?
Well, hopefully I have an invite, and I'm optimistic. And when you're looking at the 5 agencies that are part of the task force, the Surrey Police Service still has its own task force, because the provincial task force deals with complex files, the ones that have victims in a number of different jurisdictions, and there's some commonality of evidence. We still have dozens of extortion files that we have to investigate. And then we have a lot of victims that we have to protect, that we have to put safety plans together for.
These are terrible crimes. Like, there are people in Surrey, in Edmonton, in Winnipeg, Brampton, Ontario, who feel afraid to be in their places of business or their homes because of extortion threats. Some of them say they're afraid to go to the police because they don't know if there'll be recriminations if word gets out that they've gone to the police. Obviously, as the chief of a police force, it must really bother you to know that residents in your city, for example, are living with this fear. What can you tell those residents?
Well, first of all, this is number one priority for the Surrey Police Service. I totally understand how people feel. I go out to the community. I speak to the victims. I spoke to one yesterday. And I can tell you, Ian, the fear that they have, the anxiety, the frustration that they have. And we as a police profession are really pulling out all the stops. Surrey Police Service is working day and night. And as you may know, we made some arrests recently pertaining to a shooting, and we recovered a firearm in that file. So going forward, we're here for the community. And it's been my experience that when the community stands with the police, that good things can occur. And I hearken back to perhaps 15, 18 years ago when there was a heightened gang conflict here in Surrey. And so the community and the police work together to resolve that. And I think it's fair to say that the number of shootings gang-related has come down. We have to do the same thing. And one of the things that I need from the community is information. We have a little bit, it trickles in, but we'd like to get more. Something that people have seen or they know about a certain individual, that is so important to us.
So what do you say to somebody who may be watching now who says, like, I really don't want to go to the police because if the bad guys find out, these extortion threats will get even worse?
That's a very common question that I get when I go out to the community. And my response is there's many different ways that the Surrey Police Service, any police service, can protect that individual. It starts even with Crime Stoppers tip, where you don't leave your name, but it can work all the way up and in between. And there's mechanisms, there's legislation that we can use to protect the individual, but we need that information.
Chief Constable Norm Lipinski with the Surrey Police Force, thank you very much.
You're welcome.